Hey, it's Matt Pinfield, and this is KLOS New and Approved. And today, my guests are a band who have a #1 record on New and Approved. Great song called Trouble's Coming. It's from their forthcoming album, Typhoons, which will be out on April 30th. It's their third record, and they are from Brighton Beach, England, the same place where The Who filmed Quadrophenia and based their rock opera. Let's catch up with them right now. I'm here with Mike Kerr and Ben Thatcher from Royal Blood.
I
Great
can
to see you
see you.
too.
I can see you very well.
And I love that you can see me better than ever there. What do you guys think
Yeah.
about how great does this set look around here with all your stuff? Can you see all the Royal Blood graphics and everything?
Oh
It
yeah,
looks
like that.
amazing. It
It's
looks
Like a
amazing.
newsroom.
yeah,
It's
it's
like doing the Royal
Yeah.
Blood News.
yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So guys, it's great to see you. Now, last time I saw you, we were at the Forum when you were playing with Queens of the Stone Age. And, there's been so many great shows you've done here in Los Angeles. I was at the Will Turn show. You did a small show at the Viper Room. And we certainly miss you because we can't wait until you can come back to the States and do some shows. Tell me about working on the new album, Typhoons, during the pandemic. I know that you had started it before that, right? And can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I know you did. The first thing I think you started recording was a song that you were debuting live called Boilermaker. Tell me about doing that song. Was that the first thing that you started working on?
So yeah, the record itself was recorded over 2 years, but Boilermaker was a song we were playing live, and coming off the back of that Queens of the Stone Age tour, we very naturally ended up going and tracking that with Josh in his studio, which was an awesome experience. And the gap between that session and when we got back into a studio was a lot bigger. It was probably a year or so, because we had a lot of writing to do still. And so yeah, we did a lot of writing, went into the studio, and then when the pandemic hit over here, and we had to go into lockdown, that caused us to have to stop recording. And as you know, that this kind of stop-start process for everyone is how it was, and what that gave us was a quite a unique creative experience, because we would record a couple of songs and then we would have a lockdown and we'd have to go home and we'd write more songs and then we'd come back to the studio. And it was not too dissimilar from the creation of our first album, where we recorded it in these batches. And I think it gave us loads of perspective, and it gave us loads, loads of energy when we go back into each session. So it was slightly strange, but we weirdly feel like we benefited from, the roughness of the ride.
Well, it's great. Now, you've got a big record. It's #1 rock record in the U.S. right now, and it's done so well worldwide with Trouble's Coming. Tell me a bit about writing that song. Now, I know that one of the things that was different about the way that you approached this record was you wanted to challenge yourselves and, just kind of bring a different groove with some of the songs. So talk to me about writing Trouble's Coming.
We felt like that track was the key to the rest of the record. Really, it opened our eyes to a way of playing that perhaps had been asleep or been dormant in previous sessions, and we'd kind of, I guess, tickled the idea in songs like "Figure It Out," but it was just to kind of fall to the floor, and that kind of dance tempo thing was like something we'd never done, which is quite strange because it's kind of quite a standard thing for most bands and most artists, really. But our songs have always had this like swing and this back and forth thing. So it seemed very obvious when we started playing in this way. It felt so fresh, and it invited all of these dance and disco elements from bands and music that we love. So it felt like a free ticket to go and explore that kind of world. So Trouble's Coming really was the I guess our eureka moment for the whole record. And after that, the ideas almost began writing themselves.
It's amazing. Now, talk to me about the fact that I know, Ben, you've called your new sound kind of like AC disco was one of the comments that you guys made. You were just talking about the fact that it still has the heavy guitars. It's still a heavy thing, but it does have that groove.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite obvious that we've taken a step into a slightly different realm of rock and roll, and it's something that we think's a great direction for us to go in, and we're really enjoying the sounds that we're creating, and it's given us an expansion of what we can do. So it's been fun.
Now, Mike, I know that you publicly said that you'd gotten sober before, pretty right about the start of making the record, and I have that in common with you. I've been sober now over 9 months, and I feel 100 times better. And this all went down during the pandemic. And you look fantastic, by the way, which is great. And I know that you've said that really changed kind of the way you approached working on the record. It was concept, and some of the lyrics were more vulnerable and introspective. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, as you'll know, I guess I just had this new energy to me, and the days were longer. And I had an immense amount of clarity. And I think part of being creative and being efficiently creative is being able to trust yourself and trust in the band that you're in, and be able to trust each other. And I think that having that clarity allowed me to trust how I felt about something. I think that was really important going into something that was new for us and unknown, because had I not had that clarity, I felt like it would have been too kind of disruptive and unsettling. So I think it allowed us to kind of push it a bit further and make something a little bit more dangerous. But who knows? Maybe the same record would have come out if had I not done that. I only know this way, but I think I'm pretty sure it's come out that way because of that.
I think it's great. Now, for people that are really just discovering the band or have discovered you recently, I want to give them some background on the band, which is one of the things that I think they'll really find fascinating is the fact that you're a two-piece and what you've done with the concept of less is more, but it feels so full, is, Mike, you playing bass, but playing your bass like a guitar and playing it through a bunch of pedals just to get a full band sound. It was unique when it came out, and it was very mind-blowing. Talk to me about how that process, did that happen by accident or by design?
A bit of both, really. The initial concept was by design, but then I think, like most guitarists, there's happy accidents along the way, and as the songwriting and the bands developed, the sounds have developed, but I think the reason we also sound bigger than two people is the way that we play together, and the larger than life thing is about the arrangement of how Ben and I bounce off each other or work together, and that's kind of all you have as a two-piece. That's the biggest trick you have is your dynamics, So don't get me wrong, there's a few pedals helping me out, but I'd argue that the real secret is in our chemistry, and that's something you can't buy on eBay. Well, you can buy chemistry on eBay, but it doesn't equate to your band at all. It's just a bunch of test tubes.
Yeah. Well, you guys, you definitely have this incredible chemistry, and when you play live, because, you played festivals like Coachella and, over in England, Reading Festival and things like that, where I've watched you perform in front of 100,000 people and just command the crowd, which is A pretty incredible thing to do, but it is definitely about your energy as a two-piece. Now, I want to tell people about you as well, Ben, and your background. Now, you started playing drums in church. Your brother was also in like a Christian rock band for a while. I know that. But that's where you got your chops. I mean, you literally were kind of playing every weekend, right? Tell me about that.
Well, you either go to church and you have to sit there and listen, or you can go and do something like play the drums, which is way more fun. Because let's face it, church is really boring unless you're playing the drums. So being brought up in a Christian household and with all my family playing, I thought, why not? I love playing the drums. And so that's kind of where it birthed from. But then I listened to bands like Nirvana and Led Zeppelin, and it got me into this whole different realm of what I wanted to do with my life. And it's just practicing and finding people that like the same music as you and jamming and growing in that way.
Now, your drummer favorites are everywhere from, obviously John Bonham, Chad Smith from right here in Los Angeles, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Dave Grohl. I mean, there's a long list of people that you're a big fan of. And, those people also admire you. I know that the Foo Fighters have taken you guys out on tour all over Europe. Queens of the Stone Age, you're big fans of. That you did that really long tour before everything shut down for the second album, How Do We Get So Dark? And those shows were really incredible. You ended up working with Josh on one track. Did it feel like a natural thing for you to do, to ask him to work with you guys in the studio? Talk to me about that relationship and dynamic.
Yeah, so I mean, we were on tour with Queens of the Stone Age just for a long time. I reckon I think we did 2 tours, so it probably worked out about 4 months or so. And we naturally got on like a house on fire. And I guess by the end of the tour, we were still really close, and I ended up going on and playing on the Desert Sessions, which was incredible. And in that setting, I guess I got to see Josh as in his producer role and in the studio, and it was just a really natural progression. And I think at the time as well, we were so looking back, we were so early on in the process, and it really lit the fuse for the album, because it made us want to go and make something that pushed us outside of our comfort zone. And a day with him in the studio is just like a masterclass. He's made many records and produced a lot of them, so we learned so much about production and how to kind of challenge ourselves, So looking back, it was a really pivotal time. It's funny to talk about getting sober. I actually got sober in that session, so it was almost like that was like the launch pad really for the album.
And that was in Vegas, right? You were doing that song in Las Vegas.
Well, we had a weekend off, so I naturally went to Vegas.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do when they come over from the UK. Let's talk.
Why not, eh?
Yeah, why not at all? Now, obviously, people like Lars Ulrich from Metallica and Jimmy Page, has gone on to say that, he said that if Led Zeppelin were around today, they would actually sound like Royal Blood. But tell me about the story when he came and showed up at your first gig at the Mercury Lounge in the States. I mean, you guys had really just started out. Tell me about how that was. Was it kind of a nerve-wracking experience?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to remember at that point in time, we had only played a few shows in America, and that was probably that must have been our first show in New York. So everything was so exciting and scary, and we were doing something for the first time every single day. And for those of the people that know, the Mercury Lounge is a small venue. It's probably holds about 500 people.
On a good day, yeah.
But again, that was exciting. And then yeah, we found out he was going to come to the show, so that's like a terrifying thing for anyone in a band, to know that a member of Led Zeppelin's going to watch your gig, and yeah, just a scary thing, because it will come as no surprise, that we idolized them, and particularly for me playing bass the way I play, it's so riff orientated, and he arguably coined that way of playing, so to have the wizard himself, come to the show and then really enjoy it, yeah, it was amazing, scary but amazing.
Yeah, I heard he was really like he was bouncing his head. He was kind of headbanging while he was watching the show, and a really big fan.
Yeah, after the first, in the middle of the first song, so I was like, okay, we're getting away with it.
And it's come full circle because you guys gave him the Icon Award for Kerrang, didn't you? Tell me about that, Ben. When you guys got to do that?
Yeah, it's funny. We actually see each other mostly at award shows. When he gave us a Brit Award, he presented us that, and we presented him. I think it was an NME Award or something like that, and then there was a Kerrang Award. Was that last year?
Yeah,
2 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years. Yeah,
2019.
Yeah.
And it's just become a thing, really. When we walk on a stage, Jimmy's going to win an award, and if Jimmy walks on the stage, it's us. So it's a nice thing. But yeah, it's amazing to give such an icon, be representing rock music and being able to pass on that award. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, that must have been great. Now, one of the cool things was when you guys played the Will Turn, I remember we were there at the soundboard, and Dean DeLeo, the guitarist from Stone Temple Pilots, came up, and he said he had a present for you guys, and it was socks. He brought socks because he thought, hey, listen, I know what it's like to be on tour, and we don't get to do laundry that often. So do you remember him coming back and presenting you guys with socks that night?
I do remember it very well, and it was very helpful because I had just got to the end of my laundry cycle, and it was it was like he read my mind.
Yeah, that's great. So let me also ask you guys. So
exactly what we needed.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool thing. So
no, I said it was just perfect.
Yeah. So I need to ask you, the album. It's going to come out on April 30th. I mean, obviously everybody's a wrench has been thrown at everyone's touring, but has there talk about any, tours coming up or, bringing someone on the road or supporting someone? Is there anything in the works, say for next fall? Have you heard anything about touring? Because you playing live is one of the things that people really do need to see because you're such a great live band.
I mean, it will come back. I think there's a lot of uncertainty on when that is going to be. As honestly, as far as we know, it's January, February 22 seems like a realistic idea. But anything before that has a big question mark over it. So yeah, it kind of is what it is, So we're kind of, but look, we're kind of ready to go, and playing live is the reason we're in a band. So we'll be the first. It'd be great to be the first band to play a gig, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Like the first, get there first,
Yeah,
even if it's seconds, maybe that's what we should do.
Now I know you guys
matinee show. Sorry, just saying we could play a matinee show, couldn't we?
You'd pack it out. I mean, you pack out a matinee show, and you could do 2 in a day.
Yeah, we have a countdown.
Yeah,
which would be amazing.
Fireworks.
Now
we'll have Catherine wheels, won't we, for the album cover?
Now
as merch. Fireworks as merch.
Now I've got to ask you guys to talk to me about being based in the area of Brighton, because Americans would know. Obviously from Quadrophenia, the Who movie about the Mods and the Rockers and that incredible album. And there's so much culture that has to do with Brighton Beach and Brighton in England there. Like, you know, like, there's a Queen song called Brighton Rock on Sheer Heart Attack.
Mm-hmm.
Now, until I went to Brighton and was there with a British band on tour, I had no idea that Brighton Rock meant rock candy. It was like actually a candy that you eat. I always thought they just meant Brighton Rock, like it was, you know what I mean? So, plus there was Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. Before that pier burned down, it said that on the thing, and that was, of course, an old reference to Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Tell me about what it's like living in that area, kind of close to a seaside town.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, I guess most people we speak to from America only really know of London. And for everyone listening, basically, if you do come to England, don't bother going to London. Just forget about it. Just come straight to Brighton because it's the greatest place in the country. It's a city that's right on the seafront. It's great in the summer. Everyone parties in the summer. In the winter, it's also great because it's just epic. Huge waves, storms. It's like being in the movie Twister, but without the twisters, you know, so it's not life-threatening. And yeah, the whole place is just full of rock bands, candy, and artists. And it's great. You can wear what you want. You can change your name. You can dye your hair whatever fucking color you want. And it's cool.
Yeah. Well, it's a great place.
And we live here as well, so.
Well, you definitely put Brighton back on the map in the music world, and I think that's great. Guys, I want to say thank you for taking the time to do the show and to come say hello. It's great to see you guys both again, man. You know, it really is. It's been a bit.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us. I've had a great time. I love the setup as well. We didn't really get to talk about that too much, but the newsroom, it just feels really, really special.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I love doing the show here and doing the interviews, and we were really happy to have you on. And congratulations on being our #1 record right now. It's fantastic, and I just can't wait till you guys get back over here to the States, things open up, and I can come see you guys live again because the shows are so great. No question about it.
Thanks, man.
You know?
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Mike, Ben, thanks so much for taking time out of your evening because I know the time difference. I appreciate you, doing it a little later at night for me,
Easily done. Easily done.
I'll see you guys soon, okay?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Take care, man.
See you soon.
Mike, Ben, thanks so much for checking in with us from the UK. That's Royal Blood, and don't forget their new album is coming out April 30th. It's called Typhoon. It's their 3rd album, and you're not going to want to miss hearing the rest of their great tracks. I'm Matt Pinfield, and you've been watching KLOS New and Approved.